Wow, what a year it's been. Rampant inflation, new governments, falling cryptocurrency, a stock market that doesn't know whether it's coming or going, a crashing pound, and Elon Musk has bought Twitter. One of the only constants throughout this period, of course, are my Vanguard portfolio updates, where we hop in and have a look at my Vanguard ISA and exactly what the stock market has been doing to my account. It's the 19th of December today, so this seems like as good an opportunity as any to have a look at the final portfolio update of 2022. In the last update, I just managed to get over the £13,000 barrier, and my portfolio was set at £13,014. And I can tell you now, it's not there anymore. Here we are then in my Vanguard ISA. You can see the total account is currently valued at £12,880 and 70 pence. So it's fallen around £120 since the last update. Oh, and bear in mind, I've put an additional £200 into the account since that point. So doing really well. My current personal rate of return is 18.66%, and my largest position is still the S&P 500 with a total cash value of £6,115 and 16 pence. I've now invested over £2,000 in this ISA year so far, but I'm looking to really push on in the new year and try to invest as much capital as possible before the new ISA year starts. We'll jump through to the overall performance tab, and you can see it's kind of broken down in a little bit more detail here. You can see since inception, the portfolio has netted me a return of £1,040 and 70 pence. And you can see that here on the graph, but of course, since kind of this time last year, it's pretty much gone sideways despite me continuing to invest cash every month. So it's really not done a whole lot. And that is, of course, testament to the year we've had in the stock market with the volatility, the pullbacks, the slight rallies, the pullbacks again, the new news, the crashes, and it's just been a bit of a torrid time, really. Let's change it to the year to date, though. So just going to click 1 year here for a moment just to speed the process up, and then jump forward through to the 1st of January and then view that. And what that will show you is that throughout this year, the calendar year, so far, bearing in mind I've not invested any cash at the end of December yet, I've invested just under £3,000 and I've seen a loss of £878 and 93 pence. So my overall rate of return for this year so far is negative 7.24%. Not really what we're looking for, is it? And we'll continue to do this inception 1 year approach all the way through the video so you can get a real breakdown of what's happened this year and where we're at in the overall picture. So currently I've got £314 of unrealised gain as capital gains within my invested cash, and I've made a total of £341 in crystallised gain from selling the Vanguard Life strategy back a while ago. My total interest is 99p, and of course that's increased as the interest rates have increased as well. And my dividends on the account are now £417 and 31 pence, which is a fairly sizable amount really when you think about it. Fees were taken recently as well, back in November, around £4 or £5. So I've paid a total of £33 and 93 pence in fees. But what we'll do is we'll change that back again to the year, and you can see it's a very different picture. Yes, I've made £208 and 61 pence in dividends so far this year. Bearing in mind I'll still be receiving dividends at the end of December at some point, so that'll probably be nearer £300. But you can see I have lost a substantial amount this year. I'm not entirely sure what the investment sold bit here is. I think that may have been when I've rebalanced the portfolio, but I thought I'd sold at a gain. So I'm not really too sure what that bit there is about, but we'll move on anyway. The month by month data does just show how poor December has been so far, and for that matter, the whole year so far. You can see December so far I've lost £538 and 99 pence, which puts it at the 3rd worst ever month I have had since starting to invest. And the 1st and 2nd have both been this year as well. So September was the worst month, and then June was the 2nd worst month that I have ever had. You can see so far this month I've actually invested £400. And that means that I'll actually probably hit around £600 to £700 in the final month of the year, which is something which is really, really pleasing. And it does just about kind of cover the loss that I've made. If we look back through the entirety of this year, you can see that I've had 7 red months and then only 5 green months. And across the whole thing, really, it's not really been too positive. If it hadn't been for dividends, this portfolio would be in a fairly poor position right now. We'll move through then to the investments tab, which shows each of the products that I invest in and kind of where they're at exactly. So we'll go through each of these. And this is of course since inception at the moment. So you can see the emerging markets, I'm currently down 4.62%, which is a loss of £43.99. The developed Asia Pacific ex Japan, currently up 20.48% or £81.69. So doing all right for me at the moment. The developed Europe ex UK, currently down 1.71%, a nice little £36 dividend there, which is seeing an overall loss of £14.08. The FTSE Japan, which is down 8% for me, or just under £50 loss, again with a nice little dividend. We've got the FTSE 100, which is the largest dividend that I've received for any of the products I currently invest in, which is £135.18, up 31.77% or £280, which is really quite nice. And then the S&P 500, the largest investment that I currently hold, with a dividend of over £100, with a total gross return of 24.32%, equating to £483.24 in capital return. But this is the first time we've actually seen the S&P 500 fall off the top spot in terms of growth and a return on investment, which has now been, of course, replaced here by the FTSE 100. And we're going to click through now and see to how it's been so far this year. So we'll move it again through to the 1st of January like we've done for everything else. Click view and we can see so every single investment, all but the FTSE 100 has lost me cash this year. And the FTSE 100 has even lost me cash when we consider, or when we remove dividends, sorry. So you can see it's been an utterly shocking year for the stock market. So these numbers here are the capital return. So that's removing any dividends that I've received. So you can see S&P 500 is down 10% for me this year. Emerging markets down 11%. FTSE developed Europe ex UK down 7%. Japan down 8%. And the FTSE 100 is actually the only one that's almost breaking even for me. So well done, FTSE 100. We'll move across to holdings, and something that we've started to do recently is have a look at how it's equating to my target. So the FTSE emerging markets, I hold 40 units, currently weighted at 13.5%. The FTSE 100 weighted at 14%, so we're still looking to bring that down, and I hold 57 units in the fund now. Developed Europe, also developed Asia Pacific ex Japan, we're bang on where we're looking at around 5%, holding 33 units of the fund. The developed Europe ex UK, again 12%, so bang on where we're looking at, currently holding 55 units of that fund. The FTSE Japan, around 7.3%, so slightly below where we're looking at, holding 40 units of the fund. And then the S&P 500 at 47.48%, so quite a lot below where we're looking at, but I do hold now 102 units of the fund. The Insights tab, of course, breaks down my investments by geographical region, my top 10 investments which remain largely unchanged, and the sector allocation. But it also shows me how I've performed over the last 3 months, which again is pretty much in line with what we've come to expect from this year so far, seeing a loss of 2.73%. One final thing we'll do just before we finish is hop in and have a look at the S&P 500 in a bit more detail. Now, I don't know if you've ever done this before. If you go back to some of my previous videos, you'll see that I used to do this quite a bit. And it shows the progression of the ETF or the fund over time, and it shows where I've bought in. So what we'll do is we just change this graph to 5 years, which should then incorporate every single one of the investments that I've made. And you can see that actually we're not really doing that bad. Yes, it's been a poor year in the market, but you can see the amount of different times I've bought into the S&P 500 here, with the lowest point ever buying in at around £38 per share. And the average price I've actually received for buying into the S&P 500 is £56.32, with a current value at the moment of £59.59. So you can see the power of pound cost averaging. Investments like these ones down here, where I was investing at kind of £45 per share, are still seeing me a really nice rate of return. Of course, the ones up here where we've invested kind of as it was approaching 70, so 65 to 70 pounds per share, they've of course seen a loss. But it's that overall picture, it's that average picture that's the important one. And that means that my portfolio, yes, whilst it's been a terrible year and we've lost about £800 this year, despite continuing to invest, overall, I'm up over £1,000, which is money that I would never have seen otherwise. This is of course a long-term game for me, and it's been a really interesting year to go through what I would call really my first bear market since starting investing. We of course had the COVID pullback, but we've kind of got to take that with a bit of a pinch of salt because it was so short-lived and kind of for a particular reason. This is a different period where we're seeing inflation and we're seeing a really turbulent time in the markets. So let's leave it there for now then. My portfolio, the final December update of 2022, valued at £12,880.70 with a personal rate of return of 18.66%. If you do like videos like this, please do drop a comment down below and check out my most recent Vanguard video before this, which was actually doing not too badly compared to this one. And if you want to check out my entire investment pot, check out this video here where I break down each of my individual portfolios and put them together to show my total invested wealth.